Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
In this bulletin, child neglect on the rise, new regulations to govern festivals, growing interest in coral export business.
From the studios of FBC Suva.
A large number of child neglect cases were recorded in the Northern Division at the height of Tropical Cyclone Yasa last month. Mental health specialist Prem Singh says the issues surfaced following their visit to over 210 communities in the last 3 weeks, where they provided counseling and psychological support. Josiah Nanunga reports this issue, if not taken seriously, could risk a child's life.
The safety of a child at the height of any disaster lies at the hands of their parents or guardians, but this was not the case during Tropical Cyclone Yasa last month.
There are some communities whereby we have a lack of supervision for children. So now why I am highlighting this as a child protection related issue is because if we do not monitor the whereabouts of our children, there is a high risk that abuse can take place.
Singh says the children open up sharing their experiences, and majority had mixed emotions and were traumatized.
Also, child protection issues would also include areas such as, like I said, neglect, and also provision of proper nutrition for your children. So this is where we are, identifying the at-risk children in the community.
A team of counselors will revisit these affected areas to gauge the status of those children who have been identified as needing long-term counseling support.
We have actually identified an increase in the need for long-term trauma counseling support due to grief and loss issues. We've also identified the need for moral support provisions.
To the parents, we give you your assurance that your child will be looked after in our schools. The plea here is to send your child to school. I can totally understand that we will not have 100% attendance tomorrow.
Empower Pacific has so far provided psychological support and counseling to about 191 Fijians, and 4,100 people have received psychological first aid. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
The devastation caused by TC Yasa will not hinder the educational needs of students, extending his well wishes to 195,883 who will begin school from today. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says while natural disasters are growing and leaving behind high costs, Fijian children's education will still be a priority. Jeshulal reports.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says students resuming classes tomorrow should be rest assured and prepare well for their studies despite the damage caused by TC Yasa.
As our students begin their school terms at no cost to their families with free textbooks and subsidized transportation to school, we can rest assured, no matter how difficult our situation may be today, things will get better.
The Fijian government has ensured that students' education remains a priority.
For your government, rebuilding your school is our single highest priority.
Minister for Education Rosie Akbar says schools that were damaged by TC Yasa have been repaired semi-permanently. She says those schools that could not be ready on time have been provided temporary learning shelters.
We've tried to make it semi-permanent, and most of the schools have been completed. The work has been carried out by the engineers from the Republic of Fiji Military Forces and the school management.
The Education Minister today officiated at the handover of Ngalo Island Primary School from the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs. The school was one of the worst hit by TC Yasa. Jeshulal, FBC News.
A new variant of cancer is now being diagnosed among Fijians, which is slowly surpassing the common breast and cervical cancer cases. The Health Ministry is recording an increase in gastrointestinal cancer with more than 100 cases recorded annually. Minister Dr. Ephraim Wangainambete says this includes all cancers in a person's digestive tract organs, if detected or treated late, can be fatal.
When we say gastrointestinal, which includes esophageal cancers, stomach cancers, and cancers of the large bowel or colon cancers. Now, colon cancer is very common in the Western world. It's attributed to the dietary changes, but we're seeing a rise in that here in Fiji.
Allegations of corruption has led to the introduction of new laws to govern festival committees. The now defunct Hibiscus Events Group has been singled out as an example of what can go wrong when there is no transparency.
It may be the mother of all festivals, but Hibiscus was the mother of all headaches for authorities.
Gradually, the committee members were put aside, and this particular person assumed so much powers that he became the sole signatory to all checks.
There's been lack of transparency, lack of accountability, and I've also noticed there's public outcry at times. So when regulations come into force, basically every festival organizers will be guided by that.
Horror stories from the then Hibiscus Events Group don't end there. For years, it presented no audited accounts, and space provided by the Suva City Council was used to run a private business.
He was using that premises for his own gain by selling second-hand clothes as well as parking his rental business.
People who are contributing towards the funding of the festival, they want accountability. Public wants to see where the money is going.
The Festival Regulations 2021 will require all committees to submit annual accounts, manage assets, use public funds wisely, and hold annual elections of committee members. The old run-of-the-mill festivals also need a shake-up.
We were all getting tired of the same rides, same food, same style.
You don't start thinking that you own the festival. So that's one positive thing. In this one here too, I think we are allowing for 2 years maximum.
Some festivals in Fiji have an annual budget of close to $1 million.
There is an increase in interest for the export of coral. Permanent Secretary for Environment Joshua Wycliffe says it is a good revenue earner, and they have noted an increase in the number of applications made for the extraction of coral. Corals are amongst the most profitable enterprises in the world, with an estimated value of about $20 billion per year. Wycliffe says studies indicate that the United States is a major importer of corals.
So if we continue to export this year, then we'll get a quota. We are in the process of setting up a quota for this year and the next year as well.
Farmers in the cane belt areas in Nadi are hoping for a better output this season. The past few years have been challenging for many farmers due to the impacts of natural disasters, as then cane production declined. Dipesh Kumar reports.
These farmers are looking forward to a better 2021 season.
Last season was really bad because of the cyclone, and this season we have good sugarcane. And if the weather is good, then we will cut more sugarcane.
The sugarcane fields were badly damaged in the cyclone. Before last year, I had 350 tons of sugarcane, and last year was only 250 tons. There was a 100-ton drop because of the two cyclones destroyed a lot.
In the last cane season, we were affected by the cyclone and the production was slow, but it looks like this year will be good.
70-year-old Padmawati says, due to decline in production, she has diversified into farming as well.
Because of the cyclone, we had to resort to other types of farming such as livestock and vegetables.
Many farmers are planting fresh cane while others are fertilizing their crop. They remain hopeful for good weather to increase their yield. Dipesh Kumar, FBC News.
Up ahead, local sanctioned meets for Olympic hopefuls, and Dominion brothers gear up for Super Series.
Oira na ngone no de nuni enda bisi ni mataka.
Mersusunga da kena loma dina kena mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitaro bina no rabaksa ngai ka wala loma taki na ngone. Dala bina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuel.
Nama kikira enda be mataka.
Oniti kena bakarombuka.
Ni boy tiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji 1 na ndomo ibiti.
Inda na mataka.
dan ramai na Singapore.
Archers and swimmers vying for a spot in the Tokyo Olympic Games will have another chance to qualify through merit. The pandemic forced the cancellation of sanctioned regional meets for both sports, but they have been given the green light to stage competitions locally. These competitions are sanctioned with its respective standards for athletes to meet.
They are holding a national tournament that will still give them the opportunity to gain the points to qualify for the Olympics. And they're going to be hosting that tournament here in Suva in February, March.
Suva and Lambasa will have to square off at a neutral venue to determine who will be the winner of the Pele Government's Champion versus Champion series. This comes as the Fiji Football Association announced that the series will be played at Ratudakumbo Park in Nosori. The two-leg series was planned for the ANZ Stadium and Subrail Park respectively. However, ANZ Stadium is undergoing renovations while Subrail Park sustained damage during Tropical Cyclone Yasa. The first leg will be played on the 29th at 6 p.m. while the second leg is scheduled on the 31st of this month at 3 p.m. The Dominion Brothers team will not waste any chance as they head into the final preparations for the Super 7 series to be played this weekend. The side is one of the two invitational teams that will feature in the first ever series. First 5'8" Saki Singila says being given a chance to play in the tournament will not be taken lightly. Singila says they have tough teams in their pool with the likes of Luina Kaubabes, Ami and Nawaka, but they are not taking down from any challenge.
Our minimum is to reach the top 4 of the Super Series, and we'll see it from there. If it goes to the main cup final, we'll be glad to reaching there.
It will be another hot day today with a mixture of sun and clouds. Expect some showers by late afternoon. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio, and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही हैं।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।